Tonight at the Shark Tank After Show, we're talking Season 7, Episode 24. That's Pat Gnostics, Friends, Headphones, Pop Slate, Slide, Handboards. Ashton Kutcher's back! Does he invest? Find out next!
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
His voice got higher. It was crazy at the end.
Welcome, everybody. I am Cameron Lewis at the Only Cam Shaft, Twitter and Instagram. This right here is Zoe Hewitt.
This.
You mean that?
This and that. I'm Zoe Hewitt.
This is Zoe Hewitt? There's something wrong with that?
I am Zoe Hewitt. I'm a this, that, and I'm a the other. And you can find me. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Zoe Said What. That's ZOE Said What. And to my left, there's a this, that, and other as well.
Gentlemen.
See, I knew everything. I knew the this and that. I didn't know the other. That was Chris Howard. You can find me at Chris Howard Live on Twitter and Instagram, as well as legendarylivingdaily.com for tips and stuff like that, and legendarylivingtv.com. I felt like a composer as I was saying that.
Very nice.
Legendarylivingtv.com.
James Lott Jr.
This.
I'm James Lott Jr. and you can follow me on all the interwebs at James Lott Jr.
Oh.
You consolidated.
I like that.
Just done. Done.
Well,
James
obviously,
Lott Jr.
James Lott Jr. is not this, that, and the other thing, so I'm out.
Fair.
Hold on a
Steve.
second. He is the other thing.
We can't all be a this, that, and other.
Exactly.
I'm sorry,
It's you.
JLJ.
That's you. It's you.
Yeah, thank
Everything's
you.
out.
Speak for yourself, Zoe. You do
Uh-oh.
all of the above.
Ooh,
I'm
D all the
versatile.
above. D all the above.
What did you guys think of tonight's episode?
It was versatile.
Riding off the coattails of last week, which I don't know. Do we all agree that it felt a little underwhelming last week with the pitches?
Yeah.
I wasn't here.
What did you think?
Is that what you meant?
Yes.
Yeah, it was underwhelming because I wasn't
Of
here.
course.
We missed you and we talked about you.
Thank you. I hear that
I said
a lot.
nothing.
We told everyone where you were.
How much better the show was. Yeah.
We told everyone
We
where
said you were alive still.
Thank you.
you.
That's all that we need to know.
At any rate,
Yeah.
yes, I agree. Last week was underwhelming. This week was slightly less underwhelming, but I wouldn't say this is like the best of the season.
Yeah.
I agree with her, actually. Everything she just said, I agree with. It was fine.
Was it just because none of the products, none of the businesses were jumping out at you in particular, or was it? Do we like Ashton as a shark?
It's okay.
Yeah.
He has the right questions.
Yeah.
He has the right questions.
Yeah.
I think they were all just off. Like the sharks too were just a little
They were there. They're like,
Yeah.
Okay.
They didn't ask a lot of questions. Like, let's say they asked a lot of questions. A lot of times they didn't ask a lot of questions.
There was a few for some of the
talk
products
about-
tonight
yeah.
where I was like, why didn't you ask about
Blank,
this? Which
yeah.
they probably did and it got cut out.
Right.
Oh, okay, that's true.
See, that I had that thought too. I thought you never know how much is cut out of the episode, so it's hard to say. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they're splicing in.
They're splicing and dicing.
Splicing and dicing.
Putting some of this and putting some of that in there.
Right.
This, that, and the other.
Up first, though, why don't we go ahead
There
and,
you go. I'm good.
why
Thank
don't
you,
we
bud.
go
Good
ahead
night.
and talk about Pet Gnostics.
Yes.
This is the urine testing smartphone app for your animal friends. Yes! They came into the tank seeking $300,000 for 10%. Again, this app scans, like, what is it? The
Piss.
So
yeah,
it has the
the
strips.
label strips. Thank
Right.
you.
And so-
Also pets.
Yeah.
Yes.
But so I like the idea of this app. I love the idea of this product. I think there's a total use for this thing. Like, I'm not a doctor. I don't know when my dog's looking at me with sad eyes. What the hell is wrong with you? Just speak to me.
Do you even have a dog?
I don't, but it's a problem I can imagine.
And the dog's going, "Why are you holding my wanky?"
I'm trying.
And in the chat right now.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
However, the getting the pee, having to go under that dog,
Yeah.
whatever. What is that? Like a flycatcher he
That was
using?
funny. No, he had the cup.
Scoop hand.
Yeah, and then the scoop, when he pulled the scoop out, that was pretty funny because he knew the objection was coming that how the hell are you going to
How are we
collect the
gonna
pee?
catch it?
Yeah. Zoe, what did you think of this one, Pet Gnostics?
I like the concept, and I
Yeah.
definitely think pet parents. I'm a pet parent. I have. I used to volunteer at the Humane Society.
Yeah.
I have 2 cats and a dog at home, and I have spent way more money than I'm willing to admit right now, right here in public.
$7.
Minute girl.
on my animals because right after I adopted my first cat, he actually had a torn Achilles tendon. And so that surgery is not cheap.
No, it's not.
So we'll just start there.
Yeah. no, it's not cheap at all.
And one of my cats, or my other cat right now, is having other problems. So basically, I have spent a lot of money on my animals. So the concept of doing something like this and taking care of them is great. And so I can see doing it, but do I really think I would get much out of it? It would have to be for such a specific thing that you were looking at, because I know in all the problems and medical history now and money that I have spent, this wouldn't have helped at all.
Yeah, I don't think that Achilles tendon would have come up on the test strip, right?
Well, they use the test strips though in actual vets for testing for diabetes and that
For
type of stuff.
specific things, but you have to already have an idea. And
Right, I think like the way they described it was it's the check engine light,
Right.
for which I think that's a good description of it.
And most cats, I don't know, maybe like this is a public service announcement now, most cats actually die of kidney failure because they don't get enough water. So don't give us the sad music. So that's why it's really important for your cats to get lots of water. So like,
That was good,
this
Steven.
is my PSA.
I know, that was good. That was good.
So something like that is where you would
Yeah.
use a test strip, because you'd want to check their urine. But that said, once you already know they're having a problem, by that point you're giving them IV fluids, and so you don't need it.
I'm another pet parent. I have Scrabble. Remember Scrabble?
Yes.
Your buddy Scrabble.
Scrabble's a dog?
My favorite
Yes, Scrabble's a
game.
dog. She had the same thing. She's like, it's a board game? No, it's a dog. A little
Anybody
13
remember Yahtzee too?
Yes, exactly.
Candyland!
And he's a 13-year-old Chihuahua.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. So I have two things, because also, I'm a former nurse. So there's two things I have a problem with this.
Okay.
One, I think it's like a nice idea, but one, it's almost the same thing as humans using WebMD. It's so weird because, if you see a dog hurting, I'm just gonna take it into a doctor. I'm gonna take it in and see what's going on. Anyway, I don't need a test strip to do that.
Yes!
Sarah
like
McLachlan.
sound effects
I
today.
love it.
That's it.
Oh my
That's the
God.
one. That is the one.
So if
So
my
you're gonna
dog
take it
Scrabble,
in.
let me do this for a second. So if my dog Scrabble is hurting, and his eyes are open wide, I'm not gonna use a test strip or collect his pee with my hands. I'm gonna take him into the nearest doctor.
With your hands?
With
Like
my
you're going to
hand.
cup your hands?
Yes.
Right under Scrabble.
Under Scrabble.
Okay,
If your dog
Scrabble.
is suffering from a urine detectable disease, please.
Ah, yes.
I think Steven wants to join us
I know.
tonight.
I
I love it.
it.
Come on in. Sit on the
This is
couch.
certainly not underwhelming here tonight.
But no,
You
but
know-
my thing
Well,
is,
we
I
have
just.
to make up for the show being underwhelming.
Yeah, exactly right.
Jeez.
So my thing is, there's that. I don't want people to like kind of go. I just think it's if your dog, you see your animal, you kind of
Yeah.
know if they're in pain on some
Yes.
level. You know
Sure.
that. Then I'm gonna.
But don't you look up things online? You said you wouldn't get away.
I try not to,
Like
actually.
you won't
No.
order OxyContin for the dog or
Okay.
for
dogs in
myself.
pain.
but no.
Let me.
My human doctor told me to stop Googling things.
Exactly.
I Google too much.
Exactly.
Dr. Google.
Yes, Fancy Stats Guru, the music's on point today.
I am afraid
Yeah.
that the dog would become self-aware and it would get self-conscious.
Self-aware.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just weird. I don't
See,
know.
I personally, I would test my dog for it, but the problem is, just like Ashton said, how are you going to catch the pee?
Yeah,
how are you
so-
going to
Well,
do
you
that?
have
Good
the
luck
bee
trying to
catcher.
I'm
chase
not doing
a
that.
dog
Yeah.
Guys,
around.
you're forgetting the most important point of this.
What's
is
that?
the fact is, many people can't even stand to brush their dog's teeth.
Yes.
That's what I'm
Right?
saying.
So
yeah.
how
Yeah.
is your dog going to let you get near it while it's peeing? You can't
It's
exactly
not.
tell your
Thank
dog,
you.
"Hey, pee." Go ahead and pee. It's like
Yeah.
they don't pee on command.
Right.
Not to
But you can
mention
tell
the
when they're about
social
to pee.
ramifications of your neighbors seeing you run after a dog with a stick.
What's the stick for? Oh, the little
that's the
scooper.
And they're looking out the window. It's like the couple from Bewitched.
Mrs. Kravitz.
Isn't it?
Mrs. Kravitz. Mrs. Kravitz. They're always the nosy neighbors.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, Mrs. Kravitz.
Thank you, James.
I
I'm
am
the
so
undergrad
impressed
panel.
that you went that far back.
I know.
We were
were
just talking about
impressive.
Mr. Ed, so I'm like,
Oh, how
really
funny.
impressed.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah,
The
Mr.
young
Ed
end
and I
of the
go way
table.
back.
I know the young people.
Yeah,
I'm like,
the young end of the
they
table.
wouldn't even blog when
Talking
this stuff
about
was
Mr. Ed.
on. I love Bewitched. But no. I
love
completely.
Mr. Ed.
I just would not. I just wouldn't. I think they need a better system on
I
actually
don't see,
catching.
if it was,
Yeah, I
if it was
agree.
even feces, if it was
you can scoop that up.
that would be easy enough. That would be better. I mean, I wouldn't enjoy
Yes,
it, but
but
No,
yeah.
you
Yeah,
have
it
to
would
pick
be
it up
easier.
anyway.
Yeah, you can pick 'em anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
And also
It's
$10.
optional to pick it up. Yeah, what were you going to say?
It's optional. It's not optional.
But-
Curb your
Yes.
dog
Curb
and
it,
pick.
thank
Yeah,
you.
thank
I'll tell you,
Thank
though,
you.
but I have I've got a
Thank you.
big dog Morocco, and she's a South African Borbal.
Your
and
dog's
she's-
in Morocco?
No, her name's Morocco.
Oh,
She's
my bad.
beautiful. Yeah.
Like Mariah Carey's kids.
Oh yes.
Oh my God, that's right.
They're in Morocco?
The one's name was Morocco.
Yeah.
Monroe and Morocco. That's their name.
Really?
That's
Rockin'?
their Rockin'. That's their
There you
names.
go. That's why I did
Rock
it.
and
No,
roll.
it's not.
Anyways, Chris, you were
Anyway,
saying.
but it's, you know, but these dogs have like bronchial issues, and then I have a pug, a little teeny pug, and yeah, and they'll have issues that where they're blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So they pass it on to me. No, but they get all congested and they
Is
have
that how they
problems
talk?
breathing, and they say if you don't check those things out, it could be indicative of something more serious.
Yeah.
But a test strip
So-
wouldn't help.
But so would you
so
buy
I
this
would-
if it was a
Yeah,
say
I mean,
more
if you look at the
convenient
vet
system?
costs, if you looked at the vet, my big issue is that for your average person, I don't know that they're going to go chasing the dog around, but I would have, and I guess I'm pretty average. I don't know.
Chasing the dog around, you guys, like you walk your dog on a leash, and I have a big backyard. My dog goes out, but still, you go for a walk. She's on a leash. You know, you can tell when she's about to go to the bathroom. It's
dogs
not. You
are
guys
so
make it sound
self-conscious
like
about going to the
totally
bathroom.
self-conscious.
you
Yeah.
don't
They
even
stare
have
at you
a
like,
dog.
I
don't
know.
come near me.
I'm sorry,
Their
girl.
own dogs.
My dog, you don't have a 13-year-old Chihuahua has attitude. And
Yes.
Scrabble's like, screw you. I'm going to maybe pee on this tree and maybe not that one. I can't decide when he's going to pee when I'm walking around.
Bothers
with him.
me when they stare at you like.
Yeah, and if you get close to the
know.
dog when they're peeing, I just can't imagine that they don't get stage
I
fright.
tried to look away when
Then
they
they
pee.
aim
I
it
tried
at
to
you.
give him some
Maybe
pride.
it's
Are you
easier.
kidding me?
I do. I was like, what do you do?
Why didn't they just give you like a diaper that you wring out into the thing?
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't be sterile. You would get
She actually answers
well,
the
because
check.
you would get other bacteria in
It's
it.
gross, though.
Nurse,
You would not get a
nurse
correct.
JLJ, come on.
Yeah, you wouldn't get a correct
guys-
output.
James, were you a dog
It would be
nurse? I'm just
tainted.
curious. I have to know.
This is $10 a cup. Doesn't that sound expensive?
I don't know. I think there's a market for it because it's more expensive to take them to the vet. It's going to cost a couple $100 probably to take them to the vet and get the. I would imagine.
$100.
I don't think
though.
$10
Where do you
Yeah, I
go
know.
to
I'm
the
like,
vet?
yeah, I don't vet you go to. I go to Petco.
Me too,
Yeah,
Banfield.
Petco. Banfield. They're
Yeah,
best.
so it's free.
Right.
It's
Well,
free.
it's not
Well,
free. You pay
I
for
agree
like
with you, Chris. I don't think
unlimited
$10 is that
Yes.
much.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
it's that much.
I don't think $10 is that
But
much.
if you're
It's just
testing it
capturing the
multiple
dog and
times
holding
a
It is a
day,
lot. It's a lot.
I
if you're
think
testing
the
multiple
most-
times a day, that's going to get really expensive. Or
How
even
sick
once
is your
a day.
dog?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
How
you don't
much
know.
do you need to test your test strip?
Yeah, well, I would say every now and then. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's a market for it, but I just, but like the sharks, they all thought that the technology was going other places.
Yeah.
That there's going to be other.
It is
Well,
true.
I
A
would say-
pinprick is better.
Do you know the what's the thing that you can like point into air vents and it's like an infrared thing that tells you the temperature?
that.
Like HVAC guys,
Really?
they have like a laser pointer they can point at a vent and it tells them how.
Really?
My dad has
Yes.
a salt gun that you can shoot flies with.
There
but
you
it
go.
doesn't sound like
So but it's the same concept.
Yeah.
So if they had a laser pointer that you can point at a dog and it would tell you what was wrong with it, perfect application right there.
like a
Well, good,
Star
thanks for
Trek, like a tricorder.
Just like a tricorder. What I'm saying is invent Star Trek technology.
If I could teleport, then I would invest too. Thank you, Cam.
You're welcome.
If I could teleport, I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be like somewhere in South Beach. Having a drink.
I wanna
He
go to
had what was
Bahamas.
interesting about
Oklahoma's good,
this
too. I like
that you
Oklahoma's.
can't
Trip, trip.
overlook
Yeah.
is
what?
the fact that he had already sold 10,000 cups.
Yes.
That's a
Yeah.
lot. That's,
That's
a,
good. That's
$1
good.
million in sales.
And four patents.
Four patents.
And
Patented the
patents.
crap out of this.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Is that a lot though? 10,000 cups I've had since April 2014.
But they
We're
said-
in April
you got a point.
2016.
But they were
now.
pretty, they were
years.
pretty impressive. Like they said, they kind of said that's pretty good.
Because they wouldn't have expected it.
Yeah,
That
they
was, I
expected.
think
Yeah,
that's-
they expected.
I also think that there's something else here that he mentioned too. That there's other applications outside of the pet world for this
Yeah.
thing.
That was interesting, but my imagination couldn't define it enough to say, yes, there I am. The interest was piqued.
What? Like people test their pH, like if they're on that the South Beach diet, right? You need to get into
I
ketosis
get
or
it,
something,
but
and
without,
so that would be a
without
time
him
to
laying
test.
out a solid plan for how that would happen,
Right.
how the distribution would happen. Stuff is like okay,
Yeah.
there's implications, but I have to.
It's
think
a
too
good idea
much.
in
I have-
theory, but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, someone
it
brings
could go
up-
someplace great.
Someone brings up a chat. Well, and if the P cup says there's something seriously wrong, you still have to go to the vet anyway. And still,
Right, but it's
so
like-
so it's saying, is it an added cost? Like, is
But
this
it's
an
like
added
saying,
cost?
like I think the check engine light thing is a perfect example, which he mentioned in the pitch. You don't know that there's something wrong until you get the check engine light. So I think it's a good kind of indication that something is
And
wrong.
it would probably be easier to
check
get your
engine
own
light
pee.
doesn't tell you what's wrong.
Right.
Ex-
Okay.
okay, no, excuse me. Number one, not easier to check your own pee if you're a woman peeing in a
it'd
cup.
probably be
Number
easier
two,
to get it in the cup than to chase the dog down.
number
Unless it's not.
I don't remember what you were
What-
saying, but I had a
What
number
if
two.
it was, speaking of number two, what if it was integrated into a toilet?
For an animal?
Brilliant! Invent
Right?
that. I'm fun.
For an
I'm on
animal?
board.
No.
No, I'm like seriously, like,
Seriously?
You can
human.
train cats to pee
I
in
know,
the
I know you
toilet.
can. I know you can.
I have
Human.
not done that.
Like, I know you
I don't
can.
want mine peeing in the toilet.
No, hello.
Integrate this into a toilet for a human. I think that's
Oh, that's kind of cool.
That would
was
be very
the
convenient.
idea
Along
there.
with the light from the other
Yeah,
episode.
Illuminable.
Yeah,
You
Illuminable.
should
That's
take
right.
it quick.
Yeah, do that.
Is right.
Make a
I'm gonna
note,
get on
Cam.
that.
Hashtag.
Patent.
Show.
I like that he was scrawled patent.
They ended up getting a deal with Lori
Yes.
and Kevin.
Yes.
They got a deal, $300K for 20%. Good deal or bad deal?
10%
Yeah, good deal.
more. Yeah.
I think
What
it's
the
a great
hey? Good deal.
I think it's
That's
a
a good
great
deal.
deal.
Yeah.
James Lott Jr., are you in or you out?
Out.
Chris Howard.
There's a market for it, but I'm out. I don't like it enough.
Zoe Hewitt.
Yeah, I think that's basically it for me. I don't like it enough. I think it's a great idea. I don't know that I'd use it, but I think other people would, so I'm out.
I'm in.
Oh.
Whoa.
Man who has no dog is in.
Exactly.
The man who has no dog. It's because
Now I'm gonna make it very clear. I grew up with dogs. I don't have. You guys are all
this is
acting
what
like
we're
I've never
wondering.
seen
Like,
a
why
dog
do you?
before. Whoa!
Why does Cameron hate dogs so much?
Yeah, why does it get But I think that at 20%, you have that's a good piece of the pie if the technology is developed.
And it goes someplace.
You made him
Lott
snort
Jr.
this time. It's usually me.
It's usually her, I know.
I
but
know.
that's-
I'm kind of bummed.
We move
That one
on.
makes you endearing.
Before we move on to Friends headphones, I want to tell you guys about a little show called Containment on the CW, Tuesday, April 19th. It's coming and there is no cure. The greatest enemy comes from within. From co-creator of The Vampire Diaries, Julie Plec, and Emmy Award-winning director of Game of Thrones, comes the riveting outbreak thriller, Containment. When a mysterious and deadly epidemic breaks out in Atlanta, a massive urban quarantine is quickly enforced. Loved ones will be torn apart, and those on both sides of the fence will be put to the ultimate test of survival, not just fighting disease, but fear, isolation, and the unknown. But this is a virus. Is this virus an act of Mother Nature, terrorism, or something far more sinister? The truth will not be contained. Secrets begin to unravel. Society begins to crumble, but unlikely heroes will rise. Ordinary people will defy the most extraordinary odds. Don't miss the most utterly terrifying yet highly anticipated new series, Containment. The must-see limited series event premieres Tuesday, April 19th. Catch it only on the CW.
That's tomorrow night.
That
I know,
is
it sounds good. Sounds like
tomorrow night.
It's my
Famous.
favorite station. I come here to do this while Gotham's on. You know, those other shows. Yeah.
Moving
Anyway,
on to
yeah.
Friends headphones. This is the one from this episode for me that pains me to talk about. They came in seeking $1 million for 7.6% equity stake in the company, which is a big ask. Chris Howard, first thoughts on the headphones.
So we're looking at the headphones. The headphones looked great. I got the idea. I got the fashion sense of it. I think
Yeah.
they were right on target. But I do agree with where Ashton was going, that something seemed not right. They had to pry for a lot of information to find out the debt and the amount that, and it seemed too good to be true. The projections were, we projected 6 million the first year and we wound up at 2.5, but we really lost 1.3 on the 2.5. And then this year we've done 850 grand, but we project that we're going to do, what did they say, 8 million by the end of the year. And it's like, where's
And
that
then
going to come
next
from?
year, 34 million.
Yeah, and then next year, 34 million. It's like, okay, there's something off with the projections. The projections weren't being hit. So, I like positive thinking. And if there's a history of not hitting the projections, one has to question. I feel like they had to pry for information. So something seemed off.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think that the biggest problem I have with the pitch, and I'll ask you guys if you would pay the $200 for the headphones to begin with, but the biggest problem I had with the pitch was they never talked about the sound quality.
It didn't. Sure didn't.
It was all about the way they look and things,
good point.
and the sound matters
Yeah.
so much to people now.
Yeah, it
because
does.
there's so many headphones out there,
Yes,
and
there is.
especially in a world where you have
In a
Beats by
world.
Dr. Dre and the Bose series that go crazy, and Sony has their own thing, and JBL sells the crap out of them. Sony is the professional audio standard, and all these other things. So I find it kind of hard to believe that they're gonna find a hole for the business to fit into.
What was fascinating was the distribution networks they already had, though. I mean, and
Yeah.
that's what perked everybody's attention, because being in, what was it, Apple and Best Buy.
Yeah.
I almost wonder though, because it was interesting they had a consignment deal with
Yeah.
Apple, and I almost think, and I talked to James about this earlier, but I almost wonder if that was right around the time where Apple bought Beats by Dr. Dre, because they bought into that company, and I wonder if they weren't sure if that deal was going through, so they wanted to kind of do the consignment deal with them to see if something.
And
was
then you got to
happening. I don't
wonder
know.
too, did they do their projections? Did they come up with the number 6 million by the sales of the 2.9 over to Apple? And if that's so, if they're on consignment, how that's like crystal ball,
Right,
You know,
yeah.
so then you get a little bit of the concern about how the business was being run.
Yeah, because at that point they're giving you a space to sit on a shelf. They
Right.
haven't
Who
purchased
knows
anything
what's
yet.
going to happen?
Yeah. Zoe, would you pay $200 for one of these things at the store?
No, I'd sooner pay $10 for my dog to pee in a cup.
But would you hold the cup?
I would hold the cup. For my animals, I will do anything. Clearly. No, for one thing, I'm not a huge fan of headphones. For anyone who can see us, they are not flattering on my head. So I definitely would not wear these. I don't care how much
they
they're
look
off
great.
the runway. Thank you. You're
welcome.
And Cam smells good now for complimenting. I just thought I'd share that. And this end of the table.
So does James. So does James.
Oh, thank you.
I guess everyone. Anyway, so if we're done complimenting,
We are.
Okay, I'll just move on, saying that I don't know. I wouldn't wear them. I get that some people are into that. I definitely wouldn't spend $200 on them.
It's a lot.
I like them.
So-
I'd pay the $200 or buy them as a gift for somebody. I think.
Who do you like that
people would buy
much?
that.
You haven't bought us
Zoe,
anything
you, but
all
you-
season.
I
I'm
haven't bought you
waiting.
anything all season.
I'm waiting. Where's my present?
You are so selfish.
JLJ brought me. What do you mean I'm selfish? You said you're buying me a gift. I said, where is it?
Now James is
James brought me
fashion
cookies.
savvy. I might buy it for James.
I have a question.
Wait, I just realized. Wait, you said he's fashion savvy. Thanks a lot.
I know.
You know, with his wig that he was wearing earlier tonight, that was great.
Ay, ay, ay.
Are these different enough than things that already exist, though? Is the question that I keep asking.
Okay.
Me.
Well, since somebody asked me, here's what I think.
I'm asking you right now.
Here's what I think.
JLJ, tell us what you
Okay,
think.
so here's the thing. I'm into headphones. And so I have Bose headphones that were $200. And I bought headphones for my grandson that are Beats by Dre. They're about $200. So I would spend money on. But I went in the store, something we talked about before. I went in the store and I listened to all the different headphones. Like I listened to them to see what they would sound like with music.
Yeah.
And then made decisions. So I have a problem with buying headphones online until I hear them in person, what they are.
Wow.
But I think, well, especially with Apple products are about how cute they are. So I see where this could have fit in because it's all about interchangeable and old fashioned. I thought it was kind of a cute idea. So I didn't have a problem with any of that stuff. Just that it didn't look that expensive to me. I don't know. It looked kind of not as
looked
expensive.
nice.
It was nice, but I didn't think it was like it's okay. It didn't. I've seen headphones at Big Lots that look just like that for $5.
See, I have too. And don't you think that like
Seriously, it was like
the things that you can remove,
Yeah.
anything that has that kind of functionality
Yeah.
to it, there's something that is inherently cheap looking about it.
Kinda, yeah, just kinda.
I don't know why.
They're pretty. No, they were pretty. I mean, I had no problem with them. But I think
Yeah.
if I would go into price, like you were saying, that was kind of like, well, I want to know how good they sound first of all.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of like
Good point.
Well, maybe this is really sexist of me. I don't know. As the only woman at the table, you guys can jump on
Well.
this.
Preach, go for it.
I picture, and again, maybe I'm totally wrong, lots of disclaimers here. I picture guys as being the ones who listen to and care about the headphones way more than women. I feel like I see guys on the street listening to music a lot. I see them sitting with computers and the bigger headphones. I don't see women using headphones.
That's a good
like
point.
that.
I don't know.
And I
While
don't.
you are totally sexist, I think that's a good point.
I wonder. That's a good question. I have no
Yeah.
idea. I see a lot
I
of guys.
think I might disagree.
Okay,
Yeah, I
okay.
really disagree as well.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
Another
what?
country
But
road
I
trip.
that also might be the sample because I live in one of the entertainment capitals of the world where people are constantly
I live
consuming
here
media.
too.
No, I know, but I'm just saying.
No, but I'm glad you
see,
disagree.
and
Talk.
I talk
see people
I see a lot of women using. Now I will say a lot of them use more of the in-ear ones.
Right. That's,
like above his in-ear
yeah,
headphones.
yeah. Okay.
But I think I think
because no one wants them
women
on
care
their
about
hair.
hair. Okay, that's
Yeah, well,
perfect.
I
that's
think,
the
yeah, that's true.
that's the
true.
point.
Right, I'm not saying women don't ever use headphones.
Okay.
And I am open to discussion, and thank you for disagreeing, because we all know it makes things more interesting. But it can be more interesting and wrong at the same time.
You're on a roll.
I do
Well, I need
think
to make JLJ snort
I
tonight.
know. It'll happen. Don't worry. We're getting there. We're getting there.
JLJ.
Okay,
That's
so-
JLJ. That's good.
what did you think of the necklace?
The Bluetooth
The
necklace.
Bluetooth necklace.
I look like something out of Star Trek.
I agree.
Explain that thing.
It wasn't
I didn't
even. It wasn't
understand
attractive.
it.
It wasn't
was
attractive.
Vulcan technology.
It was. It was like
Star Trek's cool.
It was very blunt.
I like that type of stuff.
It was very blunt looking. I don't know. It was just
Very
kind of
Wonder
weird.
Woman, you know?
Yeah, kinda. Yeah.
Can you
It
imagine?
had the speakers
Yeah,
here?
so-
Is
Yeah.
that what it was?
Well,
Yeah, well.
something just. But either way, you have to plug it into your ears. So
Yeah.
You're gonna look ridiculous.
But how do you
Well-
plug it in? See, I missed something.
So
I
it's
don't
like
understand.
hanging on your thing,
Right, I
and then
get
up
that.
here there's extra cords that go up and around your ear.
Oh, that's
I
kinda
believe.
strange.
Oh, is
I believe.
that it?
Could be
We
wrong.
don't know. We don't know. But the
Oh.
I didn't mind the look. I thought the look was good. I wouldn't want to do a single bet like Mark Cuban had said, to bet everything. And
Yeah.
Ashton pointed that out too. They're looking at all of their increase in growth is coming from, or at least 60%. They said 50% was going to come from the existing product line. But to think that we're going to hit this target of 8 million for the year, or whatever it was, because of this new product that's going to rock it. How can you? That's once again looking at the crystal ball.
Yeah.
So therein lies the issue that I have. It's like, well, what reason do we have to believe that?
Yeah, you're throwing darts.
There are two comments. One, Jazz41173 says that this person would pay that price for wireless noise reduction headphones. And then Fanny Stat Screw says to Zoe, they were aiming for fashion, not functionality. So I agree with Zoe that their target audience is different.
Thank you, Fantasy Stats.
Interesting. I think they'd sell them, but I think they might be short-lived because things come. They're trendy. They come in. They go
Yeah.
out. You know.
I just picture because that necklace didn't look like something that you would casually wear, right?
No.
So if that's a formal looking necklace, imagine buying like a $1,200 thing you plug into your ears.
Yeah.
It'd be weird.
Yeah.
If it made you tell the truth, it would be better. Like
It would be better. Much better.
Yeah.
And since I didn't understand where you actually listened to anything on this necklace,
Yeah.
so now if I'm understanding correctly, you're saying like there's something
I
hanging
believe-
out
We
the
don't know.
back.
We don't
Wrong.
know.
Well, then
Yeah.
if you move your head at all, right, you're
Right.
pulling it, or you have extra long cords dangling.
Right, and even if there's no inner ear thing, it's just speakers. How do you have a conversation?
I don't
Right.
want everyone to listen to my conversation. It's
Yeah.
private.
Just saying.
Well, we see people doing that all the time, though. They walk down the street. It looks like they're talking to themselves. They're on the phone. You know, so we
But
see
they're
that
on the
stuff all
phone.
time.
It's in their ear. That's the
Right.
point. We don't hear the other person.
Right. So if they wear
Otherwise
the
we would
necklace,
So now
Bluetooth.
people are gonna be doing this.
Oh no, because the necklace was Bluetooth, wasn't it?
It was.
It was
yeah.
Bluetooth.
So you don't
Yeah.
need the cords and all that stuff.
But you need
But
to
how
plug
are
into
you
your
putting it in
ear.
your ear?
Shit, yeah.
Chris is like, oh, that Bluetooth went to the brain.
Yeah, you get a little
I
plug
don't
in.
need my neck. I have Bluetooth.
We have to move on, but James Lott Jr. They did not get a deal. James Lott Jr. Are you in or out on Friends headphones?
I'm out.
Chris Howard.
Out because of the prying for like it seemed like there was something that we weren't getting.
Really,
right
that's your reason?
Do you not want a reason? Should I just say? Do I not need to
Oh, he's on
justify my
fire.
choice?
Zoe, in or out?
I'm out, but I don't mean to be on fire.
I am also out. Let's move on to Pop Slate. Pop Slate, $500,000 for 5% equity stake in the company. It is the back of the phone screen that always stays on and feeds you more information. James Lott Jr., what did you think of the e-ink backwards screen for your iPhone?
It was interesting.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say. No, I'm just kidding. Since you asked. Since you asked. I had nothing to say now.
Are you on fire?
James,
Girl, I'm
on
always
fire.
on fire. That's another story. There's ointment for that. So
The nurse would know.
yes, but first of all, I think it was a kind of like an interesting idea, the technology, and with the whole dual screen thing, and also using loads like using a battery loads up. It's there. It's Bluetooth. It's all that. I mean, I kind of like the idea, kind of, but I don't want one side of my phone. I don't want two sides of my phone. But it was an interesting idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Yeah, the two sides to the phone
yeah.
is a little unusual, and I don't think I want two sides because if I'm walking around, I don't want people seeing what You know, I want to see it. It's like you're going to be looking at one side. I don't know. I did like the concept of the Bluetooth aspect with the app that can sort. Like if you walk into a supermarket and all of a sudden your who knows, your shopping list or whatever come up, or I mean, there was interesting. I know it already exists. Yeah. There were interesting aspects to it, but I personally didn't really like the concept that much. Yeah.
Zoe, how about you? What did you think about it?
Yeah.
Not in love. Maybe because I feel like everyone's so attached to their phones, and I try to detach a little bit.
You're overwhelmed.
And I just feel like, is it really that hard to press a button and let your screen light up and give you whatever that info is that you need? So I guess I can see it in certain applications, like with Mark hearing about the sports scores. So if he just really wants them instantaneously, I mean, he owns a team, he wants to know how they're doing maybe really quickly. But otherwise, like, what do you need that you can't light it up first?
Well, I agree with you and also disagree with you.
Nice.
Okay, for some conflict.
You're allowed.
Okay.
I think if your pet could pee on it. No. I think now again, take this with a grain of salt because I've never pitched in the Shark Tank, but I think yeah. Surprise. Yeah, that's
and you don't have a dog.
What? But I think that he was selling this wrong.
Oh.
Because to me, I love this thing. Because I know, and again, this is a hard product to fit in anywhere because there's not really a need for it. But I love it because I love e-ink technology. So a little bit about e-ink, you guys probably already know, but for people at home, e-ink is actual ink that is movable with electronic charge. There you go. Thank you. And so it literally reorganizes the pixels.
A double snort tonight?
I love it. It reorders the pixels on the screen, and after it loads, it doesn't use any power anymore.
It's like those picnic things for kids.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's easier on your eyes. You're not looking at LEDs. It's like looking at a newspaper, which is awesome. You don't have to charge it like once or twice every couple of weeks. And so for that reason, I like it because I don't have to be looking at the phone all the time, which this isn't good for your eyes. And I use the crap out of my battery just checking the time.
See, but the battery issue is what Ashton had brought up. He's like, what about the battery usage? Because it seems to me that my battery goes down all the time. Is that gonna be more of a problem?
Your battery will go down less because you're not using your phone screen anymore.
Good point.
You're using the screen on the back that has the 2-week charge, essentially.
Got it.
So for that reason, all those reasons, I like it. I like the product. I think it's cool. I love e-ink. There's something kind of nice and old school about it. But at the same time, I agree with you guys because I don't know, how do you sell this? Because again, it's like you're selling something that gives you essentially on paper
what you already have
looks exactly like what your phone does already.
At $129.
Yeah.
Although now that you've said it, I can see a better application for it because like I have a Kindle and I have the older one because exactly I don't like looking at my screen.
Yeah.
So if I could have that Kindle basically attached to my phone so I don't have to carry a Kindle, which is nice because the Kindle is a bigger screen. I like the smaller phone, but that would be a way to sell it. Like basically your Kindle's attached so you always have it. You don't have to carry something separate.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
But $129.
Well, I did
pricey.
update on
Kindle's
that.
like $79.
The price did drop to $89 since the show aired. I looked online because I was tempted to buy one.
Okay.
That's not you heard, see? That's not a bad idea though, the ebook reader type thing, because you wouldn't read a book on that type of on the regular screen.
No.
Right.
But
I only do once in a while if like I have forgotten my Kindle or something like that, and I'm out, and so I have no other choice because I like to read. Then I'll read it on my screen. But it's a pain because it's small, so I'm swiping all the time. You know?
Yeah. So I wonder if he sold this differently, if it would have.
Yeah, because you just sold it better.
Oh, okay.
I think
there you go.
everybody's call these two. They both, but everybody's ears perked up when he said this is free space and we want to take that over. That's I mean that was a good, you know, it was at first you go I get that, it's like advertising space, I get that. Now what's he gonna say? And it wasn't compelling enough at that point. But with what you guys just came up with, I think you may have something with him. So give him a call, and you got some 5% partners, right?
All right. And how much do I got to pay? $500,000? Oh.
And But Chris, you make such a good point when he said, you know, here's this dead space on the other side. Because I was also, what I was thinking is he had some sort of app where he was selling space so that
I thought that
advertisers
too.
could
And
advertise
who the
on
hell
their
would
phone.
buy that, though? Nobody would buy that.
But if
right?
it were something like you could get, like iPhones are expensive, so you can get a discount on your phone. Like just like
Yeah.
actually they have the Kindles where you can get a discount on the
It's
Kindle.
like a McDonald's
if
ad
you
on
buy,
it.
yes.
Yeah.
It's like
At
you
the
sit in
front,
a
if the-
taxi and they've got the
Yeah.
ads going. Yeah.
People
Like
do
if
that on
this-
their cars.
Yeah,
why
so
not?
why
Yeah,
not?
right on.
So I could see if I could save money, like if I could save $200
Would
on
you
my
really
phone.
do it? I wouldn't do that.
I'd do
It's on the
it.
back.
I
You
would
do it?
Yours.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Really?
You don't even
I've always
see
thought
it.
about getting my car wrapped or something.
Did you?
Wrapped in Shark
James,
Tank.
super organizer.
That's right.
Let's do it.
That's an
Let's do
open
it.
ask. Any companies
Yeah.
out there that want to
Sponsor
wrap
Cam's car.
Cam's
Let's
car?
do it. Let's
I can
do
think
it.
of the
Looking.
first one, Pop Slate.
Maybe the squatty potty.
Oh,
Did you drive that car?
oh, please, yes, absolutely. I'd be a little afraid
Unicorn
about
and
what
all,
like,
yeah.
homeless people would do to it.
Here we go.
But let me ask you this one more question before we move on. If this was in color, would that be more appealing in any way?
No,
Ooh, I like that.
I don't even need the phone.
Well, I like color for obvious reasons. So, thank you. Always color. Color.
Oh my goodness.
Black and white. I'm black and white.
They got.
are.
They did not get a deal, as we just said. But James Lott Jr., in or you out? It's gonna be okay, Pop Slate,
It's gonna be ugly.
because I'll give you a deal. James, in or out?
I'm out.
Chris Howard.
Out.
Zoe.
Oh, out.
In.
What?
Let's do it. Let's commit.
Give him a call. Give him a
500K?
call.
That's a drop in the bucket.
So before we get to the next one, I just want to read a couple of things.
Yes.
Jazz 41173 says, I have to confess, I've only caught Shark Tank a couple of times, but I never missed your after show. The four of you have great chemistry and camaraderie. Always have a good time.
That's really
Fantasy
nice.
Stat Guru just said, yeah, I would like this group of hosts and they describe the products well enough. You almost not have to watch the actual episode.
Oh,
You
very
guys,
nice.
that is the
Okay.
nicest thing. You guys are so nice.
Now, we
Thank
don't
you.
know if we were saying before this started, we don't know if Fantasy Stats Guru is male or female. We were
Male.
questioning that. You said male?
I met him before.
What?
Why did you say you didn't know if he's a man or a woman? That's kind
Maybe
of
you
rude.
were
said
part
that.
of that
That's rude.
conversation.
I
Oh.
wasn't. I said I met him before.
Oh, were we talking about Chloe's fan then?
Who's
Or
Chloe?
Chloe, Zoe's fan.
Chloe.
Oh my God!
Are
I
you
just got
guys
back
sure
from New
we have
York.
chemistry?
Somebody said that we
Do
don't
we know who we are?
Okay.
Fantasy's like,
Let's move on.
Cam is a big spender tonight.
Let's move on. Let's
Yes,
move
you
on.
know,
Yeah.
why not? Let's move on to Slut. By the way, that was a YouTube update brought to you by James Lott Jr. Slide handboards, $200K for 15% equity stake in the company. These things are awesome.
They are. Okay.
I never want to go surfing because I'm scared of the big board and I'm afraid of jumping on top of it. But if I'm already in the water and I can just attach something to my hand.
Yeah.
Have you ever been surfing before?
I've been bodyboarding.
Okay.
So I would say you just lay on the. I
board's
can't stand
big,
up
right?
and stuff. I can do all that. But 'cause I can swim. So it's fine. But I love
So
I love getting in the water.
Yeah.
And so I love getting in the water. Long walks on the beach.
I was just gonna say, do you like pina coladas?
I do, and laughing and crying in the rain. I am a Taurus. No, but I love this idea because, yes, for folks who don't want to surf, like put on wetsuits and all that, it's kind of a fun thing to do in the water. They look really fun. It was really like this easy thing to do, it seemed like.
Yeah, I
enjoyed it.
I didn't understand really how it worked until he described it, and then I was like, yeah. He's like, you gotta feel the power of the water, and I'm like, yeah, connect yourself to the water.
Power of the water.
Yeah, bro. So what do you think? Have you ever been surfing?
I haven't. I love the water. I'm definitely a water person. I've always wanted to try surfing, but I haven't. But I didn't understand this product.
Oh, okay.
And I love like jumping in the waves and
Yeah.
all that, but I just didn't understand it.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay. Chris, you look like a surfer.
I've used to windsurf. I used to teach windsurfing, but I don't. Never been real surfing.
Yeah.
doesn't
Faux
windsurfing
surfing.
have a sail?
Yeah, faux
Yeah.
surfing. I only do faux surfing. But I'll be real honest because these guys got a deal and they were supporting our show here tonight and emailing
Yeah.
and stuff. I mean, there was the wise leader here that emailed out.
Our wise leader. Our wise leader. Bring him to me.
I'll tell you what I thought up front. And
Yeah.
you see, you never know. And I thought, wait, I don't want to make a judgment too quickly because you don't know how they splice and dice the show and stuff.
Sure.
But they said that they had taken all their marriage money and they had put it in, so they really had to get a deal. And at first, that's a big red ding, 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 ding. Something's wrong here. They need to. If you get your business to the point where you have to get the deal, or or you're not going to make it. That's a problem. You're in a problem place. And so for me, there was a red flag that went up. However, it appeared to make them even more endearing because the Sharks really appreciated them and liked their story. The ask wasn't too much, especially for all of the work that they had put into it and how fine it looked like a really well thought out product. I love the brand. Did you see the
I like the logo, and I want a T-shirt.
logo.
I want a T-shirt.
The T-shirts are nice.
Extra large.
The logo looked good.
Yes.
So the ask was only 200,000. So it made sense. But for a product like that, I'd have to really try it on. I want to get a feel for it. I just can't. I can't imagine how it would really work or feel. What's it,
But I agree with them. They said the marketing's changed a little bit, so make it more broad.
Yeah.
Because I think my grandsons would love it. They would love
Yeah.
it.
I think I would actually like it too. I mean,
Yeah.
If I could figure out what it was,
Yeah, you probably like it.
I think I'd like
Well,
it.
yeah, seriously.
But they said that too. They said we need merchandising. We need people to understand it. I think in order to sell it, you have to have a TV there that's got people using
Doing
it with
CAA.
these and all of that type of stuff.
I agree.
But I watched the video and I still was not
really?
sure. But
Kinda iffy, yeah.
as far as the marriage and their money
Yeah.
was concerned, that wasn't a red flag to me because I feel like they all come in with stories like that.
Right.
But that said, that was such a big turnoff. I feel like 99% of the time, like the one that we had the cryogenic people
Yeah.
who said like, "Poor me, I don't have cable TV."
Right.
And
Right.
so this
Did
to
they
me,
say that?
yes, and so this to me is the same thing where it's like. We don't have money to get married. Okay, to get married,
Right.
really, you just need to go down to City Hall.
Exactly. Money for a marriage license and go to the courthouse.
Right.
Done.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
Have reception later.
if you want a big reception,
Right.
that's different.
Right.
But to
In their
say we
defense,
can't
though-
get
Right, I
married,
know.
I just
know.
feel like they made that big of a deal about the wedding thing. I think that kind of came up organically.
Or the show
Nah.
pulled it out of
no.
them
I
and
did.
Nah.
highlighted it.
And
it's like
it's funny because
I don't agree.
They wanted a deal.
I liked the fact that they put it all in, and I get the red flag, but I feel haven't a lot of successful businesses been at that point?
Oh, yeah, and I think putting it all in is great. It's just the fact, like, we can't get
agree, I
married.
agree.
Like, Kevin offered to marry
First
him
world
right there.
problem. Sorry, I didn't feel.
I don't think
crap
Kevin
for
was
them.
sincere
That's
either. I don't think he was really going to marry them right there.
I'm
So
sorry, I'm with
I
Zoe.
take
That's
issue
why
with
I thought that was just like you can still get married. I mean, that's just, but
Okay.
that was part of their story.
That was their story. That was the drama.
enough.
So
Yes.
I
But,
get the drama.
what I love is that here they are. They built the company up. They're not the typical. They're not like a lot of the other ones that we saw that had we had the MBA in the first one that's coming from an engineering
Yeah.
background to
From
engineer
Harvard.
the way to catch the pea.
Yeah.
Yeah, the people that have been in all these places. And so this is a
pea
couple.
catcher.
Yeah, this is a couple that got together and they said, let's do this. And they were going to do it with grit. And they put it together, and I think that says something about them, and it also says something to see all the Sharks want to go in on it. I mean,
Yeah.
that kind of it surprised me that all the Sharks wanted to go in like that. But
I didn't. I think it was cool. I think it
Yeah.
was cool. It kind of spoke for itself to some extent. Like you said, Chris, a bunch of people wanted in. Ashton was. He wanted to deal with Mark, which I think was wise. $200K for 25%. Robert was kind of going all over the place. Kevin was out. Then he came back in for whatever. He was like, everybody else wants it. Yeah.
Oh,
Fear
me
of
too.
missing out.
Yeah, me
didn't
too.
look like Robert was happy with Ashton.
Oh no, he
No,
did.
he looked
mad, didn't he?
He looked mad at the
No.
end.
Yeah, he did. He looked mad.
He thought he was getting punked. So they did end up getting a deal with Mark and Ashton for 22% interest in the company at $200K, which I think that's a good deal.
Yeah.
It's I think it's the right partner.
It was a fantastic, but although I got to tell you, they were quibbling and quabbling over that 5%, and it's like, wait a second,
Yeah.
you've got Ashton Kutcher
Yeah.
and Mark
Yes.
Cuban, they're going to back you. However, as the angel investor that the Sharks going to be for them, let them stand in their power, and because you'd want them to negotiate things like that in real life. But I think here was kind of the wrong context for it. But okay, they were gonna let it slide. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some people they would have just walked away from the deal if some
Yeah.
people were doing that
Right.
because they didn't get the value.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and I don't know if this is the way it was edited again, like we
Right.
said, but I do think that when you have there's two investors essentially, two sharks that have they're forking the money over. B,
Yeah.
they have the experience. C, both of them have celebrity acclaim.
Right.
So it's like, come on,
Yeah.
do it.
Right, just do it. Just do it.
And I'm glad you did. 22%.
Do it.
James Lott Jr., are you in or out?
I like them, but I'm out.
All right, Chris Howard.
I like them. You know, if I had money to play with, I might be in, but I don't. You know,
Fair enough.
that's
Zoe?
what I'll say. But yeah.
I like them. I think it could be a fun product if I understood it, but I'm out.
I'm gonna spend a lot of money tonight. I'm gonna
You
say
are.
in.
Wow.
Do it.
Where are you getting all this cash?
You know, sold a few things.
Our systems detect that a host has wandered off the subject.
Heck is that?
That's the best.
I haven't heard that in a long
That's
time.
a new one.
I've never
That's
heard
an old.
it.
That's an old one.
Cam,
James
you can't talk about your business ventures here.
I sold some things. Very specific. It may have been a pea catcher. James, can you quickly tell us about
Yes.
the update before we go?
So we had another one of those group updates. This time it was Barbara. Group date. It was Barbara in Cabo San Lucas. And she had a little retreat for some of her entrepreneurs, Cousins Maine Lobster, Paper Y, Pipcorn, Daisy Cakes, Tom Chi Grilled Cheese, and Ryan's Ruffery. That's it, right?
Yeah.
So they got together, said it again, the beginning, before this all happened, there was 1.7 million in sales. Now they're up to 72 million in sales.
Oh, collectively. Is that what it is?
Collectively.
I put
insane.
62. Did I write it wrong?
Yes, that's what I said,
Might
62.
be 62.
Oh, I thought you said 72.
said
No,
70.
62. I meant, okay, everybody, I meant
Either
62.
way, it's fine.
62. 6.
I'm just looking out for you.
It's good success.
Since
That's
we
a
have
good
chemistry, we've got your back.
But it was interesting. Again, they brought them all together in this nice location, of course. And
Yeah.
just kind of talking. I've had, actually, Cousins Maine Lobster. It's really good.
From the truck.
For the truck.
Yeah, it's tasty.
It's really
And
good.
again, did you bring
Long
us
before,
some?
before I came on the show.
Okay,
Before I-
good. Good.
It was over in Westchester before I came on the show. But I never had any of the other products. I'd love to see the other products.
Yeah. It's like when you're in the barber group, it seems a lot of fun.
I know they work it out.
But Damon was doing that too. They're doing more workshopping and masterminding and that type of stuff. And
Or at least they are for the camera.
Or at least, well, I mean, they're doing
They
it.
would have made-
They're doing it, and the cameras get to experience it. So
All right. Well, that is it for us tonight, James. Will you tell the people where they can find you?
Oh my God, we're playing for a second. You can find me on the corner of Happiness and Healthy every Thursday morning. Actually,
when you say corner, my head went someplace else.
yes, sir. That's 18. Okay, so you can find me. Actually, this week I'm doing 3 different interviews on Wednesday here at AfterBuzz TV. I'm doing an interview on Thursday here at AfterBuzz TV, and on Friday I have adrenalineradio.com, my radio show, with really great guests coming on that. And James Lott Jr. on all social media.
All right.
Yes.
You can find me at Chris Howard Live on Instagram and Twitter, as well as legendarylivingdaily.com. This isn't sad. This is happy. Damn it.
Happy stuff.
Sad 'cause we have to go.
Daily.com for tips and fun stuff, motivational stuff, and then legendarylivingtv.com for YouTube.
Can I request happy music? Just checking.
Do it, Chloe. Do it.
There you go. A little more upbeat.
Everybody hurts because I have to leave.
Yes.
So you can find me, Zoe Hewitt. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Zoe Said What. That's Zoe Said What. You can also find me on YouTube at Zoe Hewitt Hosting, where I do a weekly movie analysis show. And to my right, this would be.
This is.
You can find me at The Only Camshaft. Tweet me your love song requests. Twitter and Instagram and Radio Millennial and iTunes. Kevin Lewis Show on iTunes. And Wednesday night, Guilty Movie Pleasure on the Popcorn Talk Network. We will see y'all next time. Bye-bye. We like pina coladas.
Gone in the rain.
While catching dog pee.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.